Alright, what's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of Mark with Effort. Yo, I'm Ben.
Farid here.
Yo, hope everyone's doing alright during this CB period, and we are here to entertain you guys.
Yeah, also hopefully we can just bring some more content and we're gonna go straight into it because we realized the past few episodes we don't really have a lot of time to actually talk about a lot of things that we want to say.
Yeah.
So we're gonna go straight into it. Today we have achieved a big hitter. We have like one the forefathers of hip hop and b-boying in Singapore.
Singapore.
So it's Ben's boss man. So Ben, who we got today, baby?
Today we have this guy, when we all started breaking, he's just always like there to make sure he's always there to bring the Singapore scene up. He's always there pushing the scene up. Today we have none other than Mr. Felix himself.
What up? Hello, everybody.
What's up, Felix?
Yo.
Oh my god, what's up feeling? How you feeling, man? How this CB thing's going on with you? How you doing out there?
CB thing. This CB thing is very confusing.
What's so confusing?
I don't know, right? Everybody's very confused what to do, right, with their lives. Not just with their lives, what to do every day at home, completely clueless. Everybody's broken from their routines.
Right.
Daily life, from their work, from their family, from their friends, and we're all just stuck with a screen and things like that.
That's true.
Yeah, that's true. All right, so in this episode, we understand that like Felix now, he's the businessman and he has gone through a lot of things. But I think for myself, I don't know about Ben, for myself, I'm gonna bring back B-boy thing twice, and I'm gonna talk about shit. Because I know he's not into the beef nowadays, but I'm gonna bring it back and hopefully he's willing to share with us.
Yeah, sure.
All right, man. I think that Felix like, man, I'm down. Okay, but my burning question, right, is like, okay, like me and Farid, we before like even dance, we both started off b-boy.
Yeah.
And at that point in time, like back in the days, like maybe like Singapore's b-boy scene is still growing slowly, but I have no idea like how it actually started, like in Singapore, like how it started. Because knowing that you started off rollerblading, am I right? Yeah. So like, but how did b-boying just come right into Singapore?
Well, I mean, I started breaking when I was still rollerblading. So when I was rollerblading, I started rollerblading when I was like 14. So by the time I hit like mid 17 years old, coming to 18 years old, me and my friends we watched some videos, skate videos that had some breaking in it.
Nice.
Like tapes, right? So then we decided to start trying the thing, and most of the time when we started breaking, it was at the Bishan skate park. After when we finished skating, we take off skates and
legends,
Yeah. Well, I mean, and then there was one friend of ours who had a little bit of experience in breaking. His name was Sunny. He's already passed away, so rest in peace. So he started teaching us a little bit of moves here and there, and then we just started jamming, and then all of a sudden that's how it generally began for me and my circle of friends. Myself, Fazuli, Ijat, Sunny. Yeah, so that's how we basically started.
So when you guys started, like before that, like as a crew, when you guys come up, is there anybody else outside that you see, hey, these people are doing it as well?
Yeah, so I mean, back then we didn't have like social media, right? Last time it's really like, just started having handphone, if I'm not wrong. I can't even remember whether I even had a handphone back then.
If not just a house phone. Hello?
Yeah, the house phone, right? We all used to have a house phone that had a wire plugged into the wall.
Yeah.
And, like your friends will call and then you have to run to the phone and pick it up. And like you probably have to like, you don't even know who is calling you, right? Last time, now you have a screen that tells you who is calling you and you can decide whether you want to pick it up or not, right?
Yeah.
And then when you set the time 6 means 6 p.m. Nobody will be late. Yeah.
Last time you would actually like, okay guys, we meet at Bishan Skate Park at like 6 p.m. See you there, right? And then you just make your way down by 6 p.m. If you're late, you're late. If you don't turn up, then your friends would just be wondering what the hell happened. Right. So yeah, I think that's kind of how it started for us on my scene, myself within my circle of friends. But before that, before us started, I think Radical Force was already there, because I started so I wasn't in part of Radical Force when I first started.
So you're not like first gen lah?
No, I'm not. I'm second gen. Second gen RF. So first gen is like the old guys. Like they are like almost 50 right now. Most of them are like 50. And me myself and Fahan, second gen lah. In fact, Fahan got into True Colors got into the crew before I did. Slightly before I did. Then I got recruited in the crew, and then we both realized that we were both in the same crew after a while. I can't remember how long it was or so. So the initiation of the both of us was done separately and without each other's notice as well,
That's weird. You all don't session together.
Wow. No, so we didn't session together when we both got in. Well, me and Fahan were already sessioning. So yeah, I mean, me and my group of skater friends, we already started from Bishan Park, and I believe some of the other crews in Pasir Ris, in Bedok, also started probably around the same time. I think at that point there was an explosion of music videos, Run DMC, like that. A few other videos here and there, movies that featured breaking in it. PlayStation used to have that Para game. And then some of the characters in there had, some b-boy steps in it. So there were b-boys and b-girls sprouting out in different areas of Singapore. And eventually we all kind of came together through a few different events.
Wow. I never knew that.
So Radical Force was not the first ever b-boy crew in Singapore. The first b-boy crews in Singapore were in the 80s.
Ooh.
Yeah, in the 80s, and they all kind of like died down in the mid 80s, mid 80s from my understanding. And then in the late 90s, right, that's when Radical Force came back. Was created, and that was kind of like the pioneering crew of the second wave of hip hop and breaking in Singapore.
Oh snap! Now look at where you are. God damn.
Well, right time, right place.
Though it's persistence, man. Come on, I gotta give yourself some props, man.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna doubt that there's some level of persistence and commitment and passion in what I did throughout this years, But I never started the thing, started breaking, thinking how far I would actually have taken it.
Right.
I had zero clue, right? Like, I mean, honestly, I was just like breaking, having fun, of course, trying to be the best. Everybody's wanting to be the best, right?
Definitely.
Like, there's a level of like, wanting to always compete with the next dude and always wanting to up level and like smoke a guy, right? Or some other crew. So I don't think I actually had any intention of not even half of the things that I'm doing today when I first, in my nascent years of my breaking life.
Who would have thought? Well, talking about like competitions, being competitive. When just from my experience when I entered the b-boy scene, I'll be honest, like I'm a nerdish kid. Like I'm a lover, not a fighter. So, but when I come inside the b-boy scene, the first thing I see, you guys are like thugs. You guys are like gangsters, like that. No joke. You guys either you're very fierce, or like I don't dare to like say hi to you guys.
Intimidating lah.
Yeah, you're like fucking intimidating. So would you agree that maybe at the era, when most of them are like portray that kind of image, or are that kind of people?
Personally,
dude,
I
it's
myself,
fucking scary, bro.
It's like you never want to face them,
Very xiao.
All b-boys in general, or just me?
In general, the whole scene when I was there.
I feel at that point in time.
What year was that?
2006, 2005,
2005.
2005, 2006. Yeah.
2005, 2006.
That was when Hellboys, Enemy Ground,
yeah.
FTC,
then you guys, FTC.
RF,
Yeah,
Yeah.
FTC
Rio. Yeah.
not intimidating. I mean, FTC all
Yeah.
guys are generally quite nice. Enemy
Yeah,
Ground, the guys were also generally quite nice.
Not to me when I first come in, bro.
I think it's the face lah. The face, like, you know.
No, I
Yeah,
mean, like,
well,
okay, if you look into like the whole hip hop culture, I think most of y'all should already know that hip hop culture was born from the Bronx, right? New York,
Yeah, right.
Where times were not exactly the best. It
Correct.
was a country, well, a big city state that was, in gang, gang issues, right? And just society breakdown, right? Like buildings on fire. I mean, I wasn't there. Like, I can't speak for what exactly it was back then. But like, just talking to some of the older guys from that era, they will tell you that, if you watch certain movies like Wild Style, and all that kind of stuff, you actually have a little bit of background understanding of why hip hop has this very like ghetto, presentation and like demeanor, right? Our behavior, and stuff like, right? And I mean, like, I can't speak that actually reflected on us, when we first started. I think when we first started, we were just interested with the moves, right? And how B-boys, were presenting themselves in terms of their movement. And the movement, if you look at breaking, it's not like it's not like choreo, right? Where you try to reflect like a certain lyrics, and every song you're reflecting lovey emotions, right? Breaking is very like explosive and like
Dominance.
It was about dominance, right? It was about like conquering, the next up, right, on the next area, or the next person, or the next crew, or like trying to prove who is better. So hip hop has always had that level of competitiveness, for lack of a better word. I wouldn't even say it's competitiveness. It was some, I can't find a word right now, but that level of competitiveness where it made it very aggressive, right? Aggressive.
Yes.
And I think back then also, I mean, if you correlate that time, like 2005, okay, 1999, 1998, it was when I started, all the way until 2005, 2006. I mean, that was kind of like the era where we were still transiting into like the internet age.
Yeah.
90s, I had gone on the internet with a freaking big screen box, right? And green color words that you can, there's no like user interface, there's no visuals, it's just text.
No. Yeah.
My dad.
So I never gotten that yet.
So
I see you before. Yeah.
So technically, I'm also a geek, right? Like I'm computer science degree, graduate.
Yeah.
My dad,
right.
So I had internet access from quite an early age. But during 99 to like 2005, 2006 was kind of like that period where the whole world was transitioning from the way we used to live, right? Our parents' era to now, like how we used to live on this internet age, right? So back then, it was a little, we're not so wary of people. I think society has become a little bit more wary of how we behave in public as well. Right now, because anybody can just pick up a phone and like, I'm gonna post this guy on the internet.
Yeah, everybody's too brittle now, man. Too brittle.
Brittle is the word. Careful, always under
pussies lah, just pussies lah, straight up.
So I mean, like in secondary school, I wasn't really a gangster, I was just a dude with a whole lot of I got anger management problems when I was younger, right? I used to always get into fights. I was always arguing with people. I wasn't your super, presentable, approachable kind of guy when I was in my teenage, young adult year.
Maybe as a young adult also, I want to approach you so scary,
Well, I mean, okay, it's just that demeanor, right, and the presentation of myself, right? Shaved head, thick chain, wearing singlet all the time, slightly buff, walking around with attitude, right? And then and not always walking alone, always walking around with my my crew and my bunch of friends who all have the same,
Right.
So
yes.
it can be a bit intimidating, but I think as with all human beings, we tend to judge people on who they are before we actually know them. Right?
Yes.
And I think most people who have actually gotten to know me and interacted with me after actually interacting with me, right, realize that I'm actually not such a dick. And
well,
I think it's fun.
I just tell you just my first experience, somehow in a sense with you was actually this jam that happened at Cinevision when Technique came down from Skills Matter.
Yeah. That was my second. That was my first event I ever ran.
Yeah, so I was there. Then I was a wide eye, new guy, just okay, I want this looks damn fun. And then there was in between things, you guys had just a random cypher on the stage, on a small, tiny stage.
Yeah,
so,
I remember that.
Yeah, I bring my stupid ass up to come in and stand with the big boys, right? This is Skill Methods, RF, everybody is just fucking going in. And then I thought cyphers was okay, let's just go in. So the very first time that I want to try to go in, then people keep stealing my rounds. I didn't know there was such a thing. And the first person to steal was you. So I want to come in, then Philly just slide in and just do some CC shit. I'm fuck. And I never got into that cypher. I'm fuck these bitches. I'm gonna work my ass off. So that was my very first interaction with yourself. Because you fucking steal my round.
Oh, is it? Okay. I guess that contributed somehow to how you have transited into,
Yeah, I would agree so, man. You gotta be a lion to tame the lions, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but I mean, you see the whole cypher culture thing. When we first started in Singapore, I don't think we didn't even understand the term cypher. You know what I mean? When we first started in Singapore with videotapes, that was the only resource we had, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
There wasn't really much education on the ethics or the culture side of things, right? So when I actually, I learned a lot more when I moved to Australia to study my university, right, for 2 years. And I actually met a lot more b-boys over there, which a lot of them have been breaking for a number of years, and they taught me a lot about the culture side of things, right? And then when I was studying in Australia, I actually was teaching part-time as well. In schools and youth centers, and save money. And then I decided to go to New York. In 2005, end of July, early August. So during 2004 and 5 I was in uni, right? So 2005, I decided to go for this mecca trip to New York City and 10 Rocksteady anniversary, right?
Hey.
Yeah.
So we wanted to ask about that also.
So I went alone.
Yeah.
Most of my Aussie friends had gone the year before or the year after to some other events in the States and stuff like that. B-boys from Australia were, and Japan were regularly traveling to Europe and to the States to attend events where Singaporeans had never been out of Singapore apart from maybe Malaysia and stuff, right? To travel out to events, you see. So I learned a lot of the culture side of things on, cypher, blah, 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 and all that from Australia and my trip to the States. So, I mean, that specific cypher, 2006, right? Floor Skills, that was when Technique came down.
Floor Skills.
Actually came back from Australia.
Yeah.
Okay.
Was also on this hellbent mission to prove, right, that I've learned the most, right?
Yeah.
And
bring that knowledge down.
Right, and to just kind of smoke everyone, right? I'm the best, right? I'm the best. Right, and of course, cypher etiquette at that point of time, ciphers just became a thing. So when I came back in 2005 December, right, the first jam that was actually thrown by one of my crewmates before he was even in RF was Tosh.
Oh,
so he threw his Step It Up jam event at a substation,
I remember that, man. Yeah.
Yeah. So that was the first jam that happened when I first came back. I think that was within like 1 week of when I came back, or 2 weeks from when I came back, and that was like the jam. I wanted to go there and prove a point that everybody here is whack, you know, right? So when we went to the jam, right, it was your typical event, right, where Tosh had a like cardboard laid out on the floor, right, which was pretty cool for back then. Everybody that came into the event, the first thing they did was everybody sat down in a square, right, along the cardboard and like put their backs down and like was waiting for the show to start. So I thought it was kind of whack, you know, and at the point, you know, after coming back from the States and Australia, I felt that I needed to shine some light on what b-boys are supposed to be doing at the jam rather than just sitting down waiting for a show to start.
Okay.
Yeah, and same with you, Farid. Like when I went to New York, right, I was a nobody there. I was one short Asian kid, like trying to act cool with my, you know, sunglasses and my dyed hair, right? And it was extremely scary for me also. I couldn't even jump into any ciphers, and even when I jumped into ciphers, I was. It took me like probably an hour or two before I even managed to jump into one because I was so scared, right? Right? Yeah, you know. It's true, right? But after I had an experience from New York and I went back to Australia, right, there was no cipher I wasn't scared of jumping into.
Damn,
man.
That's cool to know that Felix like cannot even go inside a cipher.
Right?
Yeah,
and
but
he
it's true.
Said before,
You know, so that whole trip to New York, right, was like my Mecca trip, and you're talking about all the big guns over there. You got like Kmel, you have Technique, you have Luigi, you have Casper, you have Ness, you have Crazy Legs, you have everybody was there, right? And you know, you have all the guys from Flomo crew was there, even from Finland and everything. You know, so it was damn scary for me. Like, and I was like solo, right? So even if I tried to jump into a cipher, I had to jaga my back.
Yeah.
You know, and it's New York, guys. It's not like Singapore where you can put your shit around and people don't take it. In New York, you put your shit, like 2 seconds, it's gone. Like I actually lost my entire bag when I was in New York.
Oh shit!
Yeah, so I was at I think Union Square. There's a park over there where all the b-boys practice, and I was practicing some of the b-boys over there. And I just put my bag one corner. Oh no, so I didn't get my bag stolen. My wallet was stolen from my bag. So I had no money to go home.
Well, that sucks, man.
Yeah, so some of the guys from some of the b-boys from you know, they lent me some cash to just take the train back to Queens from Union Station.
There you go.
So I mean, like everybody who has started any form of activity, right, will always have that fear, or that, you know, uncertainty about themselves and their own skills, right, to be able to participate in a group activity. Right? So we're not talking about just dance, right? We're also talking about basketball or soccer, right? Or, you know, or whatever, right? You're good at soccer in your hood, and then you go to National Stadium or, you know, some bigger stadium or some other area where that, you know, you also
right.
Yes. So I think the harsh treatment for ciphers is a mechanism for weeding out the weak, right? And making the weaker strong in some ways.
Preach.
That's true. Preach. Oh, so much knowledge. I love this. Can we extend this podcast for like 2 hours? Okay, I'm just kidding.
This is the first time we never talk, you know. We just listen to our guests. You know, usually we will talk more.
Later I scared if I talk, he just steal my talk. Then like, okay, I shut up. All right. Okay. So,
but it's good knowledge though. It's really like
sorry about that, bro. But
no need sorry. Like it made me like fiercer.
And I think it's a very good lesson. Yeah. I think like every jam we go, every battle we go, like we learn more. Like every time we go, we just learn new things, like how to be fiercer, how to like be more crafty, be smarter with how we reply and stuff like that. I think I think that's how we grow.
Yeah.
All right.
I mean, it's a lot of strategy.
Yeah. That's true. Has B-Boy think twice at that time? Like, who do you think was like a big competitor? If let's say you go to a jam, you have to battle someone, like, fuck this guy, you know I'm gonna kill him. Do you have a kill list that you have for like local people, local B-Boy back in the day?
Kill list? I mean, like I said, like back then, I mean, I wasn't a very. I was a nice guy, but like.
Okay.
I was a nice guy, but I had no personal dislikes towards certain things. I'm a very strongly opinionated guy.
Okay.
Yes. Okay.
I'm nice,
Fair
but I
enough.
have a very strong opinion, right? And if I didn't like it or that or how it was done or
who?
face, right, or his attitude, I will make it very clear. Right? That was me back then, right?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so I wouldn't particularly say I had a kill list. But so you see the guy that actually started teaching us a little bit of breaking moves when we first started. I told you the guy Sunny, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, so actually after I got into RF, we had kind of like a little bit of beef. Yeah, so and we only sorted that beef out, I think, very, very recently when he came back to Singapore after a long stay in New York. Yeah, we became friends again after like a good 15 years after, you know.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
You know, so I harbored that kind of like dislike, you know, towards a person for a very long time. And it's very strange, you know, like when you look back at things, sometimes when you're younger and you look back at things, you kind of realize like, you know, hey, that's pretty dumb.
Yeah. I guess I'm still growing lah, cause I still have like people I dislike now lah.
No, I mean like, dude, like I have people I dislike right now as well. It's just that I know how. I mean, like I feel like I'm in kind of a position right now where I need to learn how to present myself in a more neutral fashion.
Correct.
You know, so I do have people I dislike. I wouldn't say, actually, honestly, I don't really hate anybody right now. Yeah, I just dislike of their personal traits or you know, or you know, certain things that they have done. But like, I'm not gonna make it. And I know I don't go out there guns blazing. It's like, you know, I hate you. Yeah. So I don't know, and then that's a restriction not only that I put on myself, but I think that's a restriction that age has put on myself, and also my position has put on myself. And like what you guys say, like, oh yeah, BYBX, OG, blah blah blah, you know, whatever, right? You know, that certain kind of status, right?
Yeah.
That I've attained that makes me need to present myself in a better fashion than fuck you guys, I hate you, blah blah blah. You know, like
you be the angry old Chinese man.
yeah.
In the dance scene.
So I don't think I had a real kill list, you know, but you know, so because Sunny was part of Definition Crew, so I've always had, you know, just because of that association, I had a dislike towards Definition Crew lah.
Yeah, you're not the only one lah. Come on, Ben, come on, seriously. A lot of us don't like Definition at point of time.
I'm alright. Like, you know, I'm alright. Like, I don't like, because I don't interact with them as much. Yeah.
No, even if you don't interact with them, like you see at jams, like okay, when you're on the floor, of course, you show your aggressiveness and you show your swag, like hey, like fuck you, right?
Yeah.
But like they're all around, even when they're outside, they are chilling out, they're still giving you like, we are better than you. I'm like, what the fuck? So
I mean, my crew too. You know, I'm not gonna deny us. We also gave out that kind of, you know, demeanor, right?
But different. Like you guys were fierce, but at the same time when you're outside, you kind of like funny. So we on the outside we can laugh together with you got what I'm trying to say. You're like weirdly funny. So okay, all right. So I think that's like just beef between people. Let's move on to the next topic. I think now we talk about
beef. I had beef with Illus. Remember Illus?
Illus, yes, the all red color one.
Oh yes.
Yeah, so I really like disliked what they were doing.
At the point of time. Forefather of crumbs, no.
Well, in fact, I wouldn't deny that they were forefather of crumb. Right? I think they were probably one of the first few groups out there in Singapore that were actually pushing crumb.
Yes.
Okay.
You know, but I
So
will
what?
absolutely shit on them saying that they were forefathers of hip hop or forefathers of breaking in Singapore, which they
Oh
were trying to
yeah,
do.
those labels.
Yeah, you know, yeah. So that's what I dislike. I dislike their presentation. Yeah.
Have you had a chance to talk to any of them now?
If I had a chance to talk to them, any of them now, I will probably say, you know what, you know, I'm sorry for messing up your. You know, and I just, you know, back then, like all of us were still very. But one thing I have to give it up to Illus for, right, was that they were probably one of the first ones, but maybe not first ones, but one of the few, you know, in Singapore that were trying to start a business with it,
Okay.
right?
They got a business, man? I never knew about it.
Illus, they were a collective. Well, I can't remember that guy's name, right? Peter, right? Or and then there was William. You know, I used to teach him breaking too.
Okay.
You know, and a few other guys, right? So they were trying to start this business, right? Peter is a business guy, right? Back then I was all, you know, fuck business. This is culture.
Hip
This
hop,
is
man.
Yeah.
you know, and I think I didn't like the way that they presented the culture together with the business aspect, right? It just felt too much like corporate, you know, you know, rape of culture, right? For lack of a better word. Yeah, so I actually went out to one of their events that was held at the old DXO, which is now the.
Oh, damn. So.
I think a lot of people from that era will remember I actually completely smashed their event. Like it was so like if I look back at it, right, anybody at that event would have looked at me and said, "This guy is such a rude motherfucker." Right?
Okay, the cam. Let's walk through memory lane.
What happened? But
What did you do, man?
So what happened?
I can't remember exactly. You see, so forgive me, right? My memory of things are actually quite bad.
So okay, same here.
Yeah.
Same.
You know, so all I remember about the event was that we were invited, I think, to break against, I think it was Breakforce Crew. And then, the judging was crowd response.
Okay.
And then we lost, right? So I was obviously at that point of time, I mean, like no disrespect to Breakforce, you know, homies, friends for a very long time. At that point of time, I felt we won the battle, right? And then I thought that event was whack because of that, right? And I think I grabbed, well, I don't think, I know that I actually I grabbed the mic from the MC that was hosting the event. I can't remember. I think it was a beatboxer. Yeah, it was a beatboxer that, you know, he even the beatboxer didn't know what to say. He wasn't like make some noise. He was like make some sound. You know? That kind of like emceeing, right? And I must. Yeah. So I think I grabbed the mic from the MC and I started going off on the event organizers and actual event. I went off right on this event on the mic at their event, and I think it was a sponsored event. There was brands on board.
Savage.
Yeah. It was quite savage, lah.
That's like Green Tech, right?
Yeah, kind of like, you know, and I was probably around Green Tech's age.
Hey, there you go. So you can understand where he's coming from.
Yeah, so like, I mean, if we talk about Green Tech, honestly, right, like, guys, I don't fucking hate him. I don't fucking hate Green Tech, guys. Like, what Green Tech did is Green Tech.
Yeah.
You know, like, in true essence of things, right, he is just being himself.
Right.
And if you actually know Green Tech, right, off the dance floor, right, he's a super nice guy, super chill. Right, and he has a very big heart for the community. Actually, really, like he does. But when he's on the dance floor, right, there's a switch that just connects, like, you know, it probably just like battle mode, right?
Yeah.
And just has this issue with, you know, containing himself, and it's happened across multiple events,
Yeah.
Correct. It's just like Lilu last time also lah. Same thing, what?
Yeah, but I mean, Lilu had a persona, right? And I mean,
dude.
like, same
Kick you in
thing.
the head.
Yeah, he will kick you in the head. He will throw a beanie in your face. You know,
No, you throw away your beanie.
Oh, I
Yeah.
love it, bro. I love it.
there were a lot of memes that were going on around that. But like so that was me like when I was younger, right? And I mean that was one of the events that we had beef with. And then like Definition, I think there was another events company that hired us for an event for New Balance.
Okay.
That battle happened at Zouk, Radical Force versus Definition. You know how that went.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah. So honestly,
Come on, easy win. Come on, man.
we did not know when I was called by my friend who was running the events company. It was Division Com Douglas.
Shout out.
We are gonna do a battle, for this shoe launch. Can you all come down and battle another group? We will hire the other group to come down and battle. It's like, yeah, okay, cool, And then I only found out that the group was Definition on the day.
Ooh.
Yeah, and I think that Douglas and the guys from the events team had no clue that we had this extreme like dislike towards each other. Yeah, so that battle was very intense.
Heated.
Yeah, it was a New Balance shoe launch, and it was a very heated, intense battle with like shouting and.
Damn, did Skillet got a film or not? Gotta ask him, man.
ACN B-boy.
It's definitely on YouTube somewhere. I'm pretty sure if you search Radical Force versus Definition. I'm pretty sure it's somewhere.
Damn.
Yeah, right, man.
Okay.
Yeah, after this, I'm going to look up to it, man. I'm going to look it up.
Yeah, that was, and that was the period of time where I also kind of, as I said, I just came back from, Australia. I had a point to prove, right? I was going around making sure that, me and my crew are the best. Don't fuck with us, kind of thing, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so yeah, that was during that time, man. And other than that, I don't think there was any other real like dislike. I mean, us and FTC always had a thing during battles. It was always very heated because both crews just really wanted to win, right?
Yeah,
it's like the styles thing, like okay, like I mean from the outside it's like RF has that New York style, like style is more important. Then FTC or like Fuyo is more like a power moves. More at that point of time, it's not
the Koreans
it's always that. Then like the winner will depend who's the judge. If the judge is the New York guy, then the New York teams will win. That's how the outside will look like. From us, we see like that.
We all. But honestly, I don't think RF actually honestly lost 99% of all battles in Singapore. Bro, that's fact. Whether we were together as a unit or battling 2-on-2 or 3-on-3, most of the times, most of the guys in the finals.
That's true.
That's true.
99% of the time we will win. With or without my presence, my crew out there, you know what I mean? So that is fact. And we were probably unbeatable for a good 10 years.
Ooh. Woo. Hot. I'm sweating, dude. Look at this. I'm sweating. God damn.
No, it's true. Between the period of 2001 all the way until 2010-12, which were the groups that were representing Singapore overseas?
Yeah, it's you all lah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I'm not trying to be like all like show off about this shit, but it's fact, guys.
Right.
Yeah. All right. Okay. So let's now we gonna move on a little bit. So let's talk about your Red Bull BC experience. How was it? Because then you went how many times? Twice or 3 times?
2 times.
Two times, right?
One in Hong Kong.
I remember the Taiwan one.
I remember the Taiwan
on the stage.
Yeah, you wear the red cap, then like the jacket.
The full red, the almost full red.
No, the red cap and jacket. That one was in Hong Kong.
That's Hong Kong.
That one was Hong Kong. That was very dark, right? The arena was very dark.
Yeah, very dark, right?
That one was in Hong Kong. Taiwan one was a brown color stage.
Taiwan one was with true colors, is it?
Yes.
True, yes.
That was our first trip out to Red Bull BC. It wasn't even called BC one at that time. I think the Taiwan one was called BC one. The one in Hong Kong was called Red Bull Street Battles. Yeah. So the first one out was me and Fahan. We went there. I mean we didn't place really far. Like we weren't like the ones with the big moves, you know. We were still the very cipher oriented, you know, type of b-boys. But that's, I think, what made us very different from the entire scene over there back then as well.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow. But it were really like, okay, so this is just from some of us, like back then we wish that we would have wished that actually who Mahmud would have went.
Oh, yeah. Mahmud went. Mahmud was with me.
Mahmud went. Yeah.
Yeah, but he didn't make. He went. How far did he go?
Mahmud, I think he went to semi-finals.
Yeah. So
the one with me wearing the red jacket and the red pants, Mahmud was with me during the battle. I lost first time. That's okay. Mahmud went up all the way to semi-finals or quarterfinals. Semi-finals or quarterfinals, if I'm not wrong. Yeah, Mahmud did really well.
Yeah. So, cause I mean, for me, growing up, I think Mahmud was like my idol when I wanted to see as b-boy. So he was my idol. You were the scary one. Yeah.
Mahmud is my idol too. Like there's so many people that Mahmud has been, that has influence on, you know.
Yeah.
Not just regionally, right? Musicality wise, he's excellent. In terms of power moves, he's there. In terms of competition, he's there. In terms of just overall style, he's there.
All rounder, man. He's just an all rounder.
Like a full package, right?
Yeah, 100% full package. All right, so that's Felix the b-boy. Let's talk a little bit about Felix the businessman.
Sure.
I believe like most people know, but I think there's also a lot of people that doesn't know. Like before recognized, you know, we will all just b-boy. Like you say, it's all about culture. It's all about passion. Just culture. But what's the move that? The deciding factor that makes you, like, hey man, I'm just going to start recognize.
Okay. So throughout my course of being back in Singapore after my uni, I was already teaching a lot in schools. Well, not a lot, but like as much as I could figure out at the time. And I think so in 2008, right? Yeah, in 2008, I did my first RF anniversary. That's because 2006, 2007 was Floor Skills. That was my first two events that I ever done in my life. And then 2008, I decided to stop Floor Skills because Lee Feng, the main guy who was running the company, right, just decided to have a change in his career, right? He just didn't want to do events anymore. So in 2008, I decided to do RF Jam to celebrate our crew's 10-year anniversary. And then in 2010, that's where I decided to start the studio. So for me, it was kind of like a calling for me to want to start a studio. I just had a feeling, I needed to start like a studio, like to kind of like re-educate, because I was already teaching, right? So I thought by having a studio, I would be able to educate more, or get more of my boys, or different people in the industry to be teachers and educate the next generation of dancers or b-boys or whatever, or hip hop, right? Or just generally hip hop. I never started recognized as a dance studio per se. It was a dance centric, technically a hip hop mindset, an educational facility for hip hop culture, right? So yeah, I just had a feeling that I should start something because I was already teaching, and I felt that this was another level up from just being a b-boy, just doing an event, right? I was a b-boy for like X amount of years already. By 2010, I was already 12 years into breaking, right? Then I was already teaching for a good 8 years, maybe 7, maybe longer around there, right? And then I started doing an event, Of course, we were already performing and all that throughout this entire course of things, right? We were already doing performances for all kinds of different stuff, right? So I already been a b-boy, been a performer, been a teacher. What's the next step? Start a studio, right? So I actually initially was supposed to start a studio with some other people, but it didn't kind of like go well. So I decided to forget it and just start it out on myself with Ashley Go.
Oh,
Yeah. So
Wow.
yeah, and actually the name recognized came from Farhan.
Mm.
Yeah. It was a very simple thing. Like, hey bro, I'm gonna start studio. What should I call it? Recognize that, bro. Okay.
That's it. That's it.
That's it. Hey, credit goes out, man. Shout out, man.
No,
People
but straight up,
choose
it was. You know, like sometimes when you have that thing that just hits the spot,
Yeah.
you don't need to
Yeah.
think about it, right? It kind
You
of like
think twice.
represented. It kind of like represented what we all were at that point of time, right? We wanted kind of recognition, right? We were recognized,
Yes.
right? You know, so yeah, it kind of like just became that. Yeah, you know, so that was my first ever business. Still my first business.
Hey, congratulations, man. Recognized,
Yeah, man.
doing it big.
10 years.
I mean, like,
Woo!
it's
From a
this year
small floor skills to RF Jam and now this.
supposed to be our 10-year anniversary this year, but it's been a pretty
Yeah.
shitty year. I think everybody can agree on it.
Yes,
Uh,
yeah.
Yeah, it's been tough. I mean, like, I never started out. I didn't have a business plan. I had an idea.
Hmm.
Yeah, you know, I really like. If you ask all the guys that first started out this thing with me, like especially Ashley and a few of the other instructors that started out with us before we even hired instructors, right? You know, some of the crew guys would know as well. Yeah, there was literally no business plan. I mean, I had a very basic Excel sheet to calculate rough stuff, you know, and like had a feeling that, okay, you know, it was a very simple, like, oh, if I have 10 class, then 10 class got X amount of student pay X amount of dollars, I can, you know what I mean? Right?
Yeah.
It was so simple. I'm not business trained. I'm IT.
Yeah.
So the only thing I took away from my IT degree was how to analyze and think analytically and execute things in a most efficient, you know, shortest path way. If something happens, this happens, else that's gonna happen, right? So I basically use my educational background as a computer science engineer to think about how the business should have been. And placing together also my personal experience as a performer, being, you know, dancing for multiple agencies and events companies and other dance studios who were hired to provide performances, you know, just doing all this rough idea of math and okay lah, just start studio lah, you know.
Damn. All right, talking about Start Studio, this is a thing I heard, but I cannot confirm. So hopefully, you can confirm for me. When you started Summer Jam, was there like another like studio like owner that say, "Hey, don't do this dance jam and just stick to your b-boy jam"? Is that true?
No, that wasn't Summer Jam. That was the studio. So
when you started the studio, somebody else said this thing.
When I was going to start the studio, I went for viewing, already signed lease, everything already. There was an event happening along Orchard Road at that point of time, and they were the biggest event probably in Singapore at the time, and they were also the biggest studio.
Okay. Then?
So I went over there just to, you know, tell them what I was doing, like, you know, I'm opening here, you know, like come and support if you can, blah, blah, blah. You know, I talked to some of the dancers. I got no beef with the dancers, right? I got no beef with any instructors.
That's true,
right?
yeah.
And then, the owner just came up to me and like, oh, you're starting here too. It's like, okay, cool, you know, and good for you. Like, okay, you know, I'm trying to do this union thing. All the studios can, like, you know, cross students and blah, blah, blah. I was like, okay, that's cool, man. Like, whatever, right? And like, oh, okay, so you're starting studio. Okay, that's good. You know, like, you know, do your b-boy thing lah. You know, do your popping and locking, your b-boy thing. You know, that's what you're good at. You know, just leave the choreo to us.
Ooh.
Yeah, you know, I was kind of like, I don't know if that was
like what you trying to say.
Yeah, you know, so look, at that point of time I was 29 years old, right? That was this, we're talking about 10 years ago as of today, right?
Oh shit.
And I haven't had I had kind of gotten out of that demeanor already, but I still had that.
It's always in us, man.
Yeah. It's just at that point of time it wasn't well contained, right? Well regulated, right?
That's a good way to put it. Yeah.
Yeah, so I was pretty unhappy with with the way that he put it towards me. It was kind of condescending, and it was kind of like, you know how some people encourage you, but at the same time they shoot you in the face.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, and
That's how it feels,
yeah, I didn't appreciate it. Even though he might have thought it came from a good place and he was giving good advice, which probably was at that point of time, right? You know, stick to what you're good at. You know, if he had presented it in a slightly different way, I may not have taken it so negatively.
Yeah.
Right? It's like, okay, hey man, like good luck, maybe a piece of advice just from somebody who has done it for a number of years.
Yeah, that would be enough, right?
Yeah, right. It's good to build on your foundations and carry on doing what you're currently excel at, and then slowly build to other things.
Yeah.
Rather than try and make a comparison, it's like, leave this to us. It's like, bro, what are you trying to say?
So does this thing like put like a chip on your shoulder, like, hey, you know what? I'm gonna make you see what's gonna happen. Does it put a chip on your shoulder?
And honestly, exactly that's what fueled me for a very long time. That desire to outdo.
Yeah.
Him.
Is that b-boy mentality, man?
Yeah, right. That's exactly it, right? That ability and that one day that I can look to him in his face and say, I did it.
Yeah. Judge say, Felix.
The thing about it is, right, he probably will not remember that day that we spoke.
No, it wasn't significant, but the thing is, it's always like that. So it's always some person telling us like this bullshit. I'm like, but to them it's so simple.
Yeah, but it just fuels you to the day that you see yourself, man. Hey, sometimes like you say, oh man, I'm glad you just said that, man. It gives me the motivation to just push through and, just make sure I prove a point or like, just want to be the best of myself.
Yeah. But I have to caution you guys on that, it's like having, fueling yourself with anger and hate and to try and achieve an objective, right, can only last so long.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like even recently for me personally as a b-boy, right?
Yeah.
I like you always say, right? I'm the guy that everybody's scared of, right? Because why? I present myself and I dance in a very aggressive, like angry type guy way, right?
Yeah.
And that was
very
me,
fierce
right?
Mode.
Yeah, right. That's me representing how I feel and how what I need to express, right?
Yes.
That was me. I have a lot of anger to like let out, right? I was an angry dude. Like I had a lot of emotional like problems, right, when I was younger. I'm, probably even mental disorders, right? Let's be frank about it. But after I kind of like learned to regulate my angst, right? And I realized that I didn't have so much things to be angry about in the world anymore because of what I've done and what I've achieved, right? I felt that even for me personally, I felt I couldn't really dance anymore. I was filled by anger and, aggression. And when I find that anger and aggression is good to a certain level, but it shouldn't dominate you.
Wow.
I think it's okay to have anger and aggression, but you should always keep it in control and know how to use it when you need to use it, and not let your anger and aggression dominate you. Because once you let anger and aggression dominate you, right, you are another beast.
Word. God damn, this is refreshing, man.
And this is a lot of reflection of my own self.
Yeah, but I mean, like you gotta go through some things like this, like to tell us, young people, how we can handle our shit. And
man.
They like look at where you are,
Now I feel like young people now, like small little things they just think is just end of the world.
Yeah.
But also when I see them sometimes also like, hey, that was me last time as well.
Yeah.
But in context, right? Let's put it in the context, like when we were younger, right? We had phone line, right? You want to scam people. You see,
right?
The youth of today's context has a lot more social pressures, a lot more, all kinds of different pressure, right? Pressure to excel, social pressure to look good, pressure to cool, pressure to look like the most expensive guy wearing the most expensive shit, right? Pressure to be, somebody, something, somewhat, somehow, right? So I think, and it's very hard to run away from all these, the youth of today. It's very difficult for them to run away or
I agree.
Find a way to like block it, because it's very hard to block.
I understand, because I got to think about this and like spoke to my friends about it. Like I think the generation now, as much as I like to say, oh, my generation is very, very hard,
but you just can't compare.
But then I compare, I feel now it's worse. Like if I want to run away from the bully, I just like go home, and either I have to face it when I'm downstairs, but I can go home. But now they are like online, dude. I can be chilling out my shit, and like I receive things like, hey, you're a motherfucker. Like right now, like I can kena, and they cannot run. So they have to hopefully learn to have a thick skin and like, you know what, learn to b-boy basically lah. Learn to b-boy. All right, man, this actually has been longer than what we expected, but this is great. Ben, you have any last questions that you want to ask?
No, man, but I just think I will have a lot of time like asking him, so
that's worried. True. Okay, then let me just this has nothing to do, just for fun. Hopefully doesn't take anybody off. How do you I got this question from someone I was talking to. So Felix, how do you handle Nick's anger issues?
Well, Nick's anger issues
I don't know. I think Nick don't like me, but at the same time I respect him as a hustler. I'm like, hey, it's all cool, but if you don't like me, hey, I also cool. So I don't be in your way, and I'm just going my own shit. But somebody asked me to ask you, hey, how do you handle Nick's anger issue?
You see, right? I've known him for a very long time. So when you know some people for a very long time, you tend to have a bit more patience, right? And I think the most important thing about his anger, right, is he the only reason why he's so angry about certain things is because he's just as passionate about the subject. Basically about, right? If he's not he's not angry and as easily ticked off on certain things as he is, then he wouldn't be as passionate as he is. He has pride in what he's doing and what he stands for, right? So usually I let him cool down for a while, and then I'll just after that go and speak to him. It could be a one day thing. It couldn't even sometimes be even on that day itself that we talk. Sometimes it would be like a day or two after, and then we're like, hey, that day you like that quite chibai, bro. Right? I mean, we will talk, right? We are adults. He's my age, right? We're 39 years old. We can, as I said, I have this more ability in these recent days to be able to regulate how I behave, right, or how I react. I think the key word is reaction, right? Instead of reacting, learn to disengage first, right? I've learned to disengage before allowing myself to react in a bad way. Disengage, think about it, and then act. I think that's probably the difference between me and Nick. Though Nick has, I think, improved a lot in this past number of years. He's a much cooler guy now. We hardly get into arguments nowadays. So yeah, I mean, he's a homie, man. He's a friend. He's he's my business partner, right? We've been together in the studio. I mean, he didn't start the studio together with me, but like he actually came to save my ass. After Ashley left for Australia to continue her studies, so I was left running the studio. And Nick at that point of time was also looking for to start a job here or start a career in Singapore, and it was kind of like the right timing. I couldn't afford a lot of money back then, and I paid him a very, very token sum for a very extended period of time so that we could build things together. And I mean, he was, he's been through some hardship to fight to where he is today as well. So shout outs to Nick.
Shout out to Nick.
All right, so I guess that was a great ending, man. I think just for myself, I really appreciate you coming out here, and I think this whole session has been really insightful and very.
So both of us, man.
very educating for anybody that watches this thing.
Yeah.
Like everybody should watch this, and like we appreciate your time, and I wish you the best with like the studio, life, health, and everything,
Yeah.
man.
All right, man.
Yeah,
Thanks,
man.
guys. Same to y'all.
Thanks.
Hopefully, we get past this CB period soon. And
Yes.
get back to real life.
Yeah, man.
y'all
Everybody
know-
fucking stay home.
Y'all know that this is gonna be this is gonna change the way life works from now on, right? Things
Yeah.
are not really gonna be 100% back the same ever
Back.
again.
Yeah. It
Yeah.
takes time. I think it takes time.
Yeah, it's gonna take time.
Yeah.
Bring back floor skills, man. So that I can steal that fucking round from you.
you can just come to RM Jam.
I'm calling Felix out, very siao,
Hey, I can't wait to watch that.
Bro, you come to RM Jam and do lah.
I cannot. I told you what, I pussy and weak one, so I cannot one.
Yeah,
one time.
just try.
Just one
You
time
just
only.
try one time at RM Jam. Can on, bro.
One
Don't worry.
time.
Nothing will happen.
After that, can go back already.
Bro, very
After
siao, bro.
that, yes.
10,000 people behind him, bro. Behind me got nobody, yeah. Very siao.
Bro, F1.
Alright, hey Felix, thanks, man. Hey, please rest
Alright.
well, and we'll see you soon.
Yeah, for
Yeah,
sure.
thanks, Felix.
All right, peace out.
Peace.
Alright, thank you guys. This is Mark with Effort Podcast. I'm Farid, Ben,
I'm Ben.
and Felix the man.
Felix.
Alright, so if you guys like this thing, do drop a Felix a message to say hi, to wish him luck and everything.
It's not as fierce as you think.
Yeah, man. Alright, okay, thank you guys so much. Peace.
Peace.